excited to tell you this story of my transformation from illness to wellness. Working in corporate America, I was a high achiever, ladder climber, something I think that many people will relate to. And I took a trip one day, and I got to my destination and got off the plane, and I stopped at a cafe and got a cup of coffee. And when I put that coffee up to my lip, I realized that one half of my lip was numb. And this gentleman examined me, and at the end just made a pretty quick assumption that he thought this was indicative of MS, or multiple sclerosis. And immediately, of course, I pictured myself way down the road in a wheelchair, not being able to function as a wife and a mom of 2 small kids, and certainly not as a professional woman. I did at that point what so many people do. I focused on the circumstances at hand. I was focusing on this illness, and I read everything about the illness, and it got to be my whole life. And I wore this coat, if you will, of MS, and I put it on every day, and I went out into the world, and in the first 5 minutes that anyone spoke to me, they knew I had MS. I realized something. I realized that I was living MS. I was no longer Cassie. I was this person who had this disease. And somehow I dug down deep and found this well of, I guess it would be wisdom. And I realized that this disease was merely an obstruction to the wellness that was there. So I began to practice mindfulness and meditation and changed many things about my diet. And I began to emphasize those things and drop that story that I was telling everyone about this imbalance and about this illness. I went into the full-time business of balance and wellness, and I formed a company called The Alternate Path. And the reason it's called that is because I think that's the story of this transformation. I took an alternate path back to my healing. And I don't think this is just my story. I think this is the story that any one of us can have when faced with illness or a crisis in life, is that we can pave our own alternate path back to wellness. This story has an extremely happy ending, as I am living well. I teach wellness, I breathe wellness, I practice wellness every day. And my wish for you at the end of this story is that you could see yourself in this story and remember just 1 or 2 words that you could practice every day, and that is, be well.